but I wanted to show something that maybe a lot of normal people have to deal with. Not the people that have the nice big 3-bay shops and tools put everywhere, but when you're working on your project and it's just far enough away from your toolboxes that your project becomes your toolbox and your storage box and your junk box. This is what I have. Let's walk around here and look at the passenger side. You know, you're probably saying, well, Sean, that doesn't look all that bad. Not a whole lot of tools. But what you don't see is I've got my pickup set here. And oh yeah, driver's seat, rear seats, like one rear seat, one from each of them. But I got too much junk. My plan is today that I'm going to brush out the floorboard. As you remember, I have a little issue right in there. And my thought is, because I'm keeping the vehicle, I'm not building it to sell, I'm not building it for resale value or prestige or any of that. It's going to be a daily driver toy ride. I'm going to brush all that out. Then I'm going to pour 15 it, and then I'm going to go to the store and get me some fiberglass, and I'm going to lay a little fiberglass film over those holes so that way my foot doesn't fall through, water doesn't come in. It's cheap, it's easy. I've done it before in the past on floorboards and on roofs, especially if you have a vinyl top on them. It's hidden, it's yours. What do you care? I could go over to my 84, has perfect floorboards in it, and cut them out, but why would I want to ruin a perfectly good 84 that someone else may want to build? It's up to them if they want to cut anything out of it, but I'm not going to. This is what I did in the bed. As you can see, I've got a few little pinholes. When I got the Cherokee, the window was down probably about 4 to 6 inches from the top of the frame, and I let it sit. I didn't cover it up. Well, at one time I did cover it up, but then it became uncovered and I didn't pay attention. I didn't care. I wasn't too worried about it, and that's the result of it. Bad luck, laziness, you call it how you see it. I do have a few other holes, both of them here in the tailgate area, right next to the hinges, and I have this one up underneath the dash, and I have this one right behind the seats. And anyone that knows the wonderful Jeep bodies, I had to cut holes in the floorboard so I could pull the body mount bolts out. They use a square nut that is covered by a little, seems like aluminum, I don't think it is, I think it's tin, covers that hold the nuts in place. And if you use an impact on a rusty bolt, you pull those out of there. I had a friend helping me. He grabbed the impact, started busting the bolts loose, and busted every one of those little nuts covers loose, and that was what I have to deal with. No big deal. I'm not mad at him. I'm not even mad at myself. It's just, like I said, it is a fun toy. We can live with it. But since y'all have been away, or I've been away, however you really want to look at it, I changed out the wiring harness from the firewall, from the fuse blocks, well, the fuse blocks, to the dash, and I corrected my clearance light issues. I did have a dead wire somewhere. Maybe it was in the fuse box, I don't know. I'm sweating already, and it's not even 9 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, I got the clearance lights working, and it still starts up, still drives. I had the dash cluster pulled out of it right now, which, warning to anyone working on full-size Jeeps from, well, almost 40 years and older, don't do it more than you have to. Maybe it's just my experience, I don't know, but the more you deal with those dashes, the more likely you are to break the brittle plastic. Hopefully the Wagoneer dash has held together a little bit better, although it's been abused in the past, I know. But hopefully there's enough there where I can put it back in the dash and at least have my speedometer and altimeter working. Nothing else seems to be working on this dash cluster. Maybe on that dash cluster it will. If I plan on in the future, I'm going to make myself a little metal dash panel to fit in there, and I'm going to have at least my speedometer. I believe I can pull the speedometer out of these clusters, and I'll have to go with aftermarket gauges and put it in the dash. I want to try to keep it located in the same spot. I don't want anything up the A-pillar and underneath the dash. I'm 6'3", my legs go everywhere underneath the dash. I had an old Mustang before that I mounted the oil pressure gauge and stuff like that underneath the dash, and I'd keep kicking it and have marks on my shins all the blessed time. So I'm gonna try to keep it all in the dash this time if possible. Oh, a little breeze right now, feels good. Anyway, I've been a little slow the last couple of weeks. The wife and I did some yard work last weekend on the 4th of July. We spent the whole weekend separating monkey grass. I don't know if it's the right name for it or not, but it's what we call it. But so today the idea is to get all this junk cleaned out of the back of here, and I'm going to take a wire brush on my grinder, cut brush, and I'm going to clean everything up that's rusted. I want to clean it down to bare metal as best as I can. Then I've got the Pour 15 system, I've got the degreaser, and I've got the metal etch prep. I'm going to do the whole floorboard all the way, from up as far up underneath the dash as I can, all the way to the back. Again, even though I've done the back part again, I'm going to rough it up a little bit and put another coat over it. And in the future, I'll get some dead mat, something, and I'll still put carpet over top of that. But just want to let you know where I was at, what I'm doing, and if anyone has any questions about these, I'm not an expert, but if you have touched just about every single nut and bolt on these things, screws, wires, I might have an answer, or even know someone that can give you an answer. I was on Facebook there for a while. I'm not anymore, but I was on Facebook there for a while and made some very good full-size Jeep friends that are very knowledgeable in this stuff, and I can still call them and talk to them and get answers, or give you their names to get answers. It's a community. Full-size Jeeps are a community, and if you find a good group, you can really do a lot. It's something I'm happy to be a part of, or was a part of, still am. I mean, like I said, I still talk to them. And anyway, I'm gonna let you go for now. I'm thinking I may put up this camera. I've got another camera I'm wanting to try out. I'm completely new to editing and everything, so who knows what will happen. But I'm gonna try to do a time-lapse video. Once I get the back of it cleaned out, I want to do a time-lapse video of me brushing it down, prepping it, and painting it, covering it. It's not really painting, it's Pour 15. It's encapsulating. Take a quick video of that and let you see the finished product when I get all done with it. If you like what you see, subscribe, ask questions, I'll give you answers. Could be wrong, could be right. I try my best if I can. Anyway, enjoy. All right, we're back here again. I just got done cleaning everything out. I haven't brushed it yet, but just a little bit of advice when you're getting ready to do this. Do it right, do it safe. Wear a respirator. Now I know that with my fuzz and everything that I'm not going to get a perfect seal, but at work I have to worry about silicosis. Here it's just rust, and I mean it's still silicosis in a manner of speaking, but it's nothing that I'm so worried about that won't take care of enough of it. Also, wear your safety glasses, side shields, the whole 9 yards. It's worth it. It really is. I found a few screws that I hadn't pulled out, and some other places I wanted to work on. But this is what I'm starting with. Got the fan for a little bit of air blowing through here on this already 100-degree day. Now, my cup is a little worn, been used quite a bit, and as you can see, there's some extra holes in my floorboard. I'm not worried about them. Like I said, I'm going to use fiberglass to go over them, take care of any issues. I cannot find my other time-lapse camera, so I'm going to try and set this phone up somewhere in here where I don't think I'm going to hit it with any debris or anything, and I guess we'll just see what happens. Hopefully it will work. I'm going to turn it off, put on my PPE, and then I'm going to try to set up the camera and see what I've got to work with, and we'll go from there. What the hell, I'll just leave it running. Yes, I'm leaning up against a can of cleaner right now. By the way, I'm blind without glasses, so I don't need anything to cause me to go blind any worse. Whew, been a while. All right, here we go. Ta-da! Eat those. Project was originally called Paul, and I called it Paul because the Grand Wagoneer I was going to call Peter, because I was robbing Peter to make Paul. But being as how my brother-in-law's name is Paul, I didn't think that'd be fair enough to him. So I changed the name to War Chief, on the idea of the Trailhawk. I'll have lockers in front and rear. It'll be the Trailhawk equivalency of what could have been built in 1983 when they built this. It will be off-road capable. Not that I will do that much. Anyway, that's the one little spot I was telling you about that I had found. That's where the back seat mounts. This is the driver compartment floor. Didn't really see anything else I'm worried about. Like I say, just a lot of surface rust. Just that one spot that's bad. No, that's not daylight you see there. That is the original seam sealant, which I'll figure something else out to put in there if the Por 15 doesn't seal it up, which I'm pretty sure the Por 15 is sealed up. Now, I'm not going to film this because I don't want to get the degreaser and everything on my camera, and I want to. The great thing about this is I can just throw a hose in here right now and clean everything out in the floorboard. So I'm going to throw the degreaser in here. So I had a couple oil spills from containers I had sitting in here, and who knows what else was laying in here. So I'm going to degrease it, then prep it, and try to get a coat on so that way it'll bake in this nice Texas sun. Like I said, it's already 100 degrees already. It's supposed to be 104, I think, with the heat index of, I want to say they said 116, 117. Anyway, no real surprises. I did find one little bump that I hadn't seen before. I don't know if you can see it there or not, but there's a little dent right beside that fender well. Could have been a stick, could have been a rock. I'm kind of putting money on maybe a shock had come loose at some time and hammered in there. I don't know. I don't know exactly where the shock is underneath there, but that would be one of my guesses. Anyway, thank y'all for watching up to this point. I will shoot another video once I get it completely coated. I may take pictures in between, you know, after I prep it and then etch it, prep it, so that way you can see what it looks like in between. So right now I'm just going to get my rags, and I got a can of brake cleaner, and I'm just going to wipe down the floor real quick to get a lot of the dust and everything off of it, and a lot of the stuff I can pick up, so that way I don't have to use as much degreaser, you know, multiple times to get all this off. If I can get the biggest part of it off with my hands and brake cleaner, then I can save my degreaser for other projects. Not that I won't use the degreaser, yada. All right, I just got through degreasing it, and it doesn't look half bad. I'm sweating so bad I'm leaving drops all over the floor, so this is going to be really quick. But it's been degreased. I washed it out, wiped it down with rags to get the biggest part of the standing water off, and now I'm going to let it dry, bake in this heat. Okay everybody, it is about 4:30 in the afternoon. I degreased it twice, even after the brake clean, just to make sure I had everything off the floor that I could. I took a couple rags and wiped down the floor after I rinsed it off and let it dry. Actually, I let it dry for a couple hours just to make, just because I wanted to get out of the heat of the day for a little bit. Anyway, it's 4:30. About 4 o'clock I came back outside and I sprayed the, well, take that back. About 3:30 I came out and sprayed the etcher in. And that is what I have got in the front compartment. And there is the rest of it. All right. I'm proud of it. Looks pretty good. My problem is I wanted to put the Pour 15 on it right after this dries. I just got through wiping it down, and I sprayed on the metal etcher. I waited 30 minutes. Actually, I resprayed a couple spots after 30 minutes just to make sure the floor pan for sure. Then I rinsed everything off after an hour, and I took towels or rags and wiped off all the standing water, and it's so blessed hot that it's already drying out the floor. The interior is almost completely dry already. I see one little puddle here in the back where I didn't even wipe, but everything else that I wiped is drying out. I wanted to put the Pour 15 on straight away. As soon as it dried, I wanted to start coating that. My problem and my concern is this. I'm sweating terribly. I got sweat rolling off the brim of my hat. And I'm afraid that once I get in there, because there's no wind blowing, I got a little fan that tries to help. But once I get in there, I'm gonna be sweating so bad again that I'm gonna be getting sweat into my coating. And I don't know what it's gonna do. I'm not too worried in the bed space and the passenger floorboard. It's mostly the driver floorboard I'm really worried about the rust. The rest of it's just to make it all standard, the same coating on the bottom. So I think I'm just going to dry out for a little bit, maybe 15-20 minutes. Go have a nice cool glass of iced tea, sit in front of a fan on the back porch. Try to quit sweating, dry up a little bit. Probably swap ball caps, because I've already swapped shirts and ball cap once today. Maybe swap ball caps, maybe put the other t-shirt back on now that it's dry, and come back and try to coat it without putting too much sweat marks in it. Anyway, this is after the degreaser and after the etcher. I'm going to give it about 30 minutes for me to dry out, and then I'm going to come back and paint it. Maybe I'll try to record the painting part of it, just so you can see me on my hands and knees doing something for once.